Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email us tmosso@the1916company.com for pricing. Today, we are discussing the rarest and the finest of the Patek Philippe 175th anniversary triple scale chronographs. This reference 5975P, the platinum model. There were four, three in gold, each in an edition of 400 pieces, but the platinum model seen here was made in only 100 pieces. So this is quite literally the rarest and the only one to date I had not reviewed. We're going to fix that now. So it was built for the 175th anniversary, and it's a unique reference that was only available that year. 40 millimeters in diameter in platinum. It's 10.4 millimeters thick and from lug tip to lug tip. A relatively compact 46.5 millimeters with a 20 millimeter spacing between the lugs. We'll roll back a little bit, give my wrist some space, and you can see it wears really nicely. At under 47 millimeters lug to lug, it really wears more like a 38 or a 39 than a 40. It is very flat. It does have a sloped bezel. It will fit underneath the cuff. I'm going to say you can wear this easily on a 14 centimeter circumference wrist. You're looking at 16 once again. But I do think that if you have a flat wrist, you might even be able to wear this on a 13.5 centimeter circumference wrist, making it a viable unisex solution for some. Now there is a strap, high grade, medium rectangular scale alligator leather. It's a gloss finish, black, with a monotone stitch. You can see in profile it's a folded edge, and then on the bottom calfskin. Patek Philippe factory strap in outstanding condition. And then it comes with a special matching platinum buckle. You can see right on the buckle, in addition to the company's logo, the Calatrava cross, 1839, when Patek and Chopek first created their company, to 2014, by which time the Sterns were well entrenched. But this buckle was only available during the 175th anniversary year. Taking a quick look at the case now, it's not just a unique dial. The case itself is highly expressive. You can see the lugs have two tiers. They're dramatically stepped, and you can see how they wrap around over the bezel. This is a beautiful example of case articulation that is full of nuance. Really special stuff. Welded lug construction, demonstrating how far Patek Philippe case making has come since it took its first tentative steps into making its own case with the purchase of case maker Atelier Réuni back in 1975. So the case has a mid portion defined by the overlapping flange, the case back in the bezel, which is primarily conical, but has a little flange that abuts the sapphire. The sapphire has a very slight box section to it and then a camber across the top. We have a 0.02 carat top Vesselton diamond between the lugs to remind you that this is a Patek Philippe in platinum. And then we have vintage-inspired rectangular chronograph pushers with satin shoulders and then polished faces. You have the Calatrava cross, the logo of the brand on the crown. And you can see on the reverse side, we have a solid case back. And that helps the watch to actually be a little bit thinner than if it had a display case back. But all of the 5975s are like this. And you can see 175th anniversary en français. And then we'll jump back to the dial side, which is really where you'd want the action to be. Some people lament the lack of a display case back. I say it's a nice movement, the 28520, but it's not necessarily the most artisanal the company has. You can't wear them upside down anyway, so it's best to have a dial that is absolutely loaded with heat. And this is the one to own. All of the 5975s have a triple scale chrono, but the combination of the white gold indices and hands with the black lacquer base and the white printing, oh my gosh, this thing, just unbelievable. So let's work our way from the inside out. In the beginning, there was the tachymeter. So you can see base 1000. You can use the chronograph's flyback capability to time events that occur in rapid succession. No need to stop, reset, and restart. With the flyback, you have the ability to immediately reset and restart just like that, one push. Tachymeter can be used to gauge the speed of an object. Then outboard of that, we have a pulsation scale, which can be used to gauge pulse rate. And then finally, we have the scale that is commonly associated with artillery spotting, and that is the telemeter. And so the idea being that the speed of sound at sea level or close to it is relatively fixed. So you take the visible impact of the shell, start the chronograph, wait until you hear the report, then you stop it, and that'll tell you how far away the impact was, and you read that right on the scale next to the chronograph hand. Now you can see there's a little bit of nuance here. The chronograph hand is matte finished, and yes, there is only one chronograph hand, chronograph seconds, and that is it. Below that we have faceted Dauphine style hands. You can see they have a little bit of a ribbed facet down the center and then outer planes on each side. White gold hands and indices that will not oxidize or tarnish over time. And a lot of nice little details on here. I particularly like the way they split Patek Philippe and then the city of origin. So Patek Philippe Genève. What's under the case back? Well, the 28-520 first bowed on the 5960 and the Nautilus Chronograph 5980, so it was Patek's first automatic winding in-house chronograph caliber. It is a 55-hour power reserve in this application, 29 joules, 4 hertz beat rate, 6-position adjusted, Gyromax-style free-sprung balance for precise adjusting and stability against shock. And again, 6 positions is exacting, one more than a standard chronometer. Plus, it has an anti-magnetic silicon hairspring. And one feature it does not have is actually a stop seconds function, but it doesn't really matter because with the vertical clutch engagement system, you can leave the chronograph running full time. So you set your hands, and then you use the chronograph flyback as essentially a 0 reset seconds. So you can just have your hours, your minutes, and your seconds, and use the chronograph flyback as your 0 reset to effectively synchronize to the second against a reference time. There's also a very crisp feeling column wheel action, and though you can't see it, the movement is nicely finished. So the ultimate sign of integrity, beautifully decorating something that only a watchmaker will see, and then all this water resistant down to 30 meters. If you love this watch, you may not find another. I've only encountered one since 2014, and that's as long as I've been doing this. Reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.